So we all know that making dua is a really important part of being a Muslim, and that it can really help us to have more motivation and success, but not everyone actually knows exactly how to do it, because there is actually a sunnah for it and a way to make sure you have the highest chance of it being accepted in this life and the highest chance of you getting a high amount of rewards in the akhirah. So there's actually two types of dua. In the first, you just have to memorize and recite specific verses in Arabic, and these duas are specific to different situations. So one of them you say before going to sleep, another you say before leaving the house, and there's also one you say before entering the bathroom. And there's so much more, but in this video we'll mostly be talking about the second type of dua, which is more personal and specific, and it's basically just to ask Allah for anything you want in this life or in the next life. You can also make dua for other people, so your parents or our brothers and sisters in Palestine. So the sunnah way to make dua, the way to make sure that your dua is accepted, involves 6 steps. 6 steps. So step 1 is the preparation. According to the sunnah, it's best to make dua in a state of wudu while facing the qibla and also while covering your awrah. So basically like any normal fard prayer. It's also good to make dua after doing a good deed, like reading the Quran or giving sadaqah. And to actually start the dua, you always start by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first. And you can do this in English just by saying praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, or you can do it in Arabic by reciting ayatul kursi or alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. And of course you can also use some of his 99 names to glorify him, and you can also do all of the above, and then that would probably make you have the highest chance of it being accepted. Now it's important to mention that you do this entire dua sincerely in a state of full concentration and full dedication, and you do it in a very desperate state, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers the duas of a desperate person more than anyone else, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Rahim, the most merciful, and Al-Karim, the most generous. Alright, so step 3 is to send salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and on his companions. So you can do this in English or with the durud dua or the Allahummasali dua, whatever it's called. And sending salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is mentioned in many hadiths as being a really important thing in duas. So it's really important that you do this in every single dua. One hadith even states that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Whoever sends blessings upon me, Allah will send blessings upon him tenfold." And another states something like, "Dua is suspended between heaven and earth, and none of it is taken up until you send blessings upon your Prophet." So please don't forget to do this. Alright, now the actual dua, in which you can ask for basically whatever you want in this life. You can ask for money, a wife, success, motivation, anything you want, but it's more righteous to pray for other people. So like your parents, sick people, or people who have been wronged, like our brothers and sisters in Palestine, or anyone else who isn't a kafir. So yeah, you can't make dua for kafir unless you'd like to make dua for Allah to guide them towards Islam. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's very important to be very desperate during this dua. Don't be distracted, just be very focused on worshipping Allah and begging Allah for whatever you want. It's also recommended to call upon Allah with some of his 99 names. In fact, Allah places so much importance on these 99 names that whoever memorizes them all is granted Jannah. So once you've finished begging Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for whatever you want or need, step 4 is again to praise Allah in the same way that I mentioned earlier, and then finally send salutations upon the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, exactly like I said earlier. So yeah, those are basically the steps to making dua, but there are also a few things that you might need to know. The Prophet said that the closest a person is to his Lord is when he is prostrating, so say a great deal of dua then. So you know, when you make dua, try to be in sujood or in prostration. Otherwise you should raise your hands like this. And now it doesn't matter if you have your hands like this or like this or like this, it's just whatever's most comfortable to you. There's no specific like sunnah of where you should do it. There are also optimal times to make dua. These include during a fast, on a Friday, when it's raining, between the adhan and the iqamah, or in the last third of the night. So some people also like to blow on their hands and then wipe their entire face and body after dua, and that's actually not prescribed in any authentic hadiths. There are only 2 instances in which the Prophet Muhammad was seen actually doing this. And one of them would be before sleep, so he'd blow on his hands and then he would recite the 3 quls, and then he'd repeat that 3 times. And the second time is when he was sick or when he was in pain. He would first recite the 3 quls, then blow on his hands, and then he would wipe whatever's hurting. So if his arm's hurting, you just, you know, wipe that after blowing on his hands. But apart from that, if you're just at the mosque, if it's between the adhan and the iqamah, you should not blow on your hands. So now that you all know how to make dua, I humbly request that all of you make dua for our brothers and sisters in Palestine. May Allah grant them peace and victory, and may He ease their pain and suffering, and inshallah they will be rewarded with Jannah for their martyrdom. Anyways, that's about it. I thank you so much to my members. You guys make my videos possible. And if you'd like to be a member and support me, you'll get access to my members only Discord server. Right now we're actually trying to memorize the 99 names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for which the reward is Jannah, as I said earlier. And yeah, we're trying to memorize all of the names before 2024, inshallah. But yeah, for more videos, click here or here, like and subscribe. May Allah bless you all. Assalamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.